Okay, the last thing I want to talk about are ellipses and constructing ellipses in perspective. One good practice for a sketchbook is just drawing them simply to kind of feel the movement of them. So if you're looking at something like a cup and you see into it, it means it's below your eye level. If it's above your eye level, then you would see the top, something like that. Okay. If it's at eye level, it means where the top is would be straight across. So a good rule of thumb when just practicing ellipses is just as it's closer to the horizon line, it's going to be narrow. The opening is going to be narrow. You're not going to see into it, but as it opens, or as it goes, higher up, they open, they open, they open. But these would be essentially like the bottom because you're looking up. If you're looking down, it's the same thing. They open up gradually as they get further away from your eye level because you're looking down into it more. So practicing ellipses, all different sizes. This is a movement that's a really good thing to just get used to. You don't want to be getting like footballs, so no corners. The ends, no matter how close they are, should feel rounded. This is also a measurable unit. So if you're sighting, you can measure the height against its width. To construct circles in perspective, there is an 8-point grid system that you can use, and it's essentially something like this. So in my cube, and it applies for any of them, I'm just going to choose this one because my lines aren't as dark. So the first thing that I would do is I'm going to find the center point on these two sides. In any rectangle, to find the center point, you want to go from corner to corner, draw a line, draw your diagonals. So if you have a building on perspective, from one corner to the next corner, going across, that's how you find your center point. Then you want to break it up into its sections. So staying parallel with this, do a straight vertical through the center, from the top edge to the bottom. And then for this one, since it's 2-point perspective, you're going to want to use, on this drawing, we're going to use our right vanishing point, and we're going to go right through here, and it should hit the center of this. So that should be about center. So there is, draw this one a little bit darker, your 8-point format. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From there, to construct the ellipse, one thing that we know for sure is to draw it, it has to hit each side. So you will draw through here, the sides, top and bottom. But how do you figure out where it goes here? One easy thing to do is divide each of your diagonals from the center to each corner into thirds. Get as close as you can. And they're not all going to be equal because remember, this is in perspective. Another thing you could do is you could go in about a third from the corner on one of them, and then you could actually use your vanishing points to create an additional square within, to make sure your thirds are properly placed. And then once you have that, just do this. This one needed to come out more. Okay, and to construct the ellipse, you're going through here, and then just outside of that outer third. This takes a little time and patience. And just connect. Oops, too far out. Come around here. So this isn't something that you can use a compass for because it's in 2-point. Here you could use a compass. This, not so much. And that is a circle, an ellipse in perspective. So you would do the same thing on the side to get an even more exaggerated look to it. So you crisscross to find the center, and then once you find the center, drop your vertical parallel to the front and back edge. Make sure your rulers are straight up and down, perpendicular to your horizon line. And then for this one, because these lines go to your left vanishing point, you know how you can erase some of those lines too. It gets a little confusing. Since this side is dealing with your left, go from your left vanishing point through the center, and it should meet up with this line that went through the center for the right vanishing point. Okay, now you have it. You know, it has to go through here, 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 and here. Find your third, outer third, and just do the square within. Meet up with this point, go over, and it's going to hit this diagonal. So all you need to do is find the 1/3 mark on one of those diagonals. That's easier to do it if you want a more accurate ellipse. Get your square inside the square, and then just outside each corner, connect from the side and through. Just remember, like, you don't want to go straight. Make sure it's rounded out nicely. It gets a little more of a strange feeling to draw like this. But if you need to have anything, like say in a still life, you're drawing an object and you have circles, imagine you have an ellipse that has an XY axis and you want it to be perfect, you can draw the rectangle around it. Making sure all 4 quadrants are equal. It's pretty equal. And you would do the same thing. Do the crisscross, use your ruler. This is not something to freehand until you get really good at it. You'll know if this line isn't centered based on your crisscross. So maybe do the crisscross first, get your height, your width, do the crisscross, then do these lines, and then construct it the same way. Like that. I don't feel you need to do the square or that inner rectangle every time. If you can figure out like about where 1/3 is, drop it down, it'd be right here, 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 and just draw through. In time, you won't even need to do this. The more you practice this, the more you can just draw more freehand, and keeping in mind that each section in the ellipse is like a mirror image. So if you have this center access line, this here is a mirror image of this one, and this is a mirror image of this half. So as you're drawing and you have ellipses, always keep that in mind. That's what you should have, like mirror images, quadrants that are equal to each other but flipped. If one half is more narrow, then it's not going to look good. So that's it for 1 point and 2 point and ellipses in perspective.